time it is. Marvin Devine, Huber, Axel, and you know how we do. Yeah, I got the juice. Whip game cool, make them look like cool. Always play it cool, that's the biggest rule. Forget what they doing, keep on doing. I've been making loot since like 22. Ask me how I made it right here in the booth. I'm always pursued cause of what I pursue. That's greatness, yeah, I gotta make it, I got things to lose. Boy, just wanna get in my crew, but you can't get in my crew. Me, XL, and Huber, way too fireable. When this joint drop, better call the troops. And when you hear the drop, better raise the roof. Better raise the roof. You already know what happens when we when we link up. Let's go. Yeah, I got the
morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching. Welcome to another broadcast of Kidney Hub East Africa. I am half your host, Steve, the Kidney Nurse, and I want to send well wishes, and I ask you as well, the audience, to send well wishes to Brother Moses Kennedy, the kidney ambassador. He is under the weather today. And Brother Moses is still doing dialysis. And a lot of kidney warriors encounter problems, not just with treatment, but when it comes to their access. Okay, so please, let's wish Brother Moses a speedy recovery and hope to see him back next Sunday right here on Kidney Hub East Africa. Today, we are going to talk about your first 30 checklist. Questions you should ask during your first month in dialysis. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, crash into dialysis, meaning as soon as they get right out the hospital, they're going right to the outpatient hemodialysis center. And they got a lot of things going on in their mind. And there may be some questions that one may not even be thinking about that they should ask. In fact, you have many people that start dialysis that don't get any information. No information whatsoever. They pretty much had to find out everything on their own. I can't tell you the countless times that I have admitted patients, and I come in and we go over the consent form, and I may get into a little bit of letting them know what to expect. And then a lot of patients say, hey, my doctor didn't even tell me that. He didn't explain anything to me, he or she. They just came in the room and said, I had to do dialysis. Didn't explain to me how the procedure was going to go down, that I was going to need this or need that. So thank you. So we thought this would be a good moment or broadcast, because we've done many of your first 30 checklists. But as I said before, every year, about 750,000 people are diagnosed with kidney failure. So even as we do this broadcast right now, Sunday, October the 20th, 2024, 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8:15 p.m. East Africa Time, someone is getting diagnosed with kidney failure right now as we speak. So share this live. We got one person watching. Not sure if it's from YouTube or Facebook. Thank you for watching. And we got 11 people watching from TikTok. Now, you have a lot of people say, there's no kidney disease education. There's none. And I beg the difference. We're right here. We've been doing this for the last 7, 8 years. And it's always the same. Low turnout. See, there's low turnout with the education, but it's a high turnout of people getting diagnosed. Make that make sense. But I digress. So let's move on with the broadcast. Your first 30 checklists, questions you should ask during your first month at dialysis. Because I know a lot of people are starting dialysis and don't have a clue, not one, of what questions they should be asking and how to navigate through this process called hemodialysis. Now, if you're watching, you see my new book is about to drop. The Dialysis Journey, Navigating the Dialysis Journey, a guide for families. I'm just waiting for the proof so I can look at the proof and authorize the start of the production. Now, hopefully, people who are just started dialysis, their family members will pick up this guide so they can navigate the journey with their loved one who's undergoing kidney dialysis. Because this doesn't just impact the person on dialysis, it impacts the entire family. So let's get into it. So once you start dialysis, you go to outpatient, walking through that door. I talked about it last night. the consent form. Because once you get in dialysis, they're going to give you all these papers. They're going to drop down on you and have you go through it and initial here, sign, print your name, sign it, date it. I'm like, my God, this is a lot of paperwork. It is. And for some people, it can be quite overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. And during that process, you may forget the question you may need to ask. And as the days and the hours go by, now it's the first week, now it's the second week, now it's the third week. And next thing you know, you've been on dialysis 2 months and still don't know a lot of what to expect. Maybe that unit where you're at is short of staff. Maybe they don't got a social worker. Maybe they don't got a dietitian. In some places, don't even have a facility administrator. It's being covered by somebody else. And you may fall through the cracks when it comes to information. So that's why we do these broadcasts, especially for our brothers and sisters in East Africa. Because here in the United States, patients are lucky they undergo hemodialysis. I know many people are like, man, I don't want to go to dialysis. And that's understandable. But think about this. Our brothers and sisters in Kenya, Jamaica, and other places around this world are only allowed to do dialysis twice a week and at 4 hours each treatment. And don't let me talk about our brothers and sisters in Gaza, where their treatment has went down from 3 days a week, 4 hours per treatment, pre-war, down to 1 day a week treatment at 2 hours. That's genocide. So let me move on and do this show. So week one, week one. This is some things that you should think about. Week one of dialysis. 1, coping. How are you going to cope with this new normal? Get mental health officials involved, because you may be dealing with depression, anxiety, insomnia, and all other types of feelings because you just started dialysis. Here are some questions to think about, to ask. How can I get help coping with all these changes? Because there's going to be some changes. 2, what mood changes should I watch out for? How will I notice them? How will you? Will you be angry? Will you snap at your family members? When you come in the unit, will you be hostile because you had to start dialysis? And the person who can possibly help you answer these questions and help you address them is the social worker. So if you're about to start dialysis, your mom, your dad, your loved one, and they're going through some coping issues, some mood changes, and you want to find help, reach out to the social worker at that dialysis unit if you haven't already reached out to a mental health professional. Week 1, another question to ask. Your new diet, or something to think about. Your new diet. Because it's going to be a new diet for you. Make no mistakes. You're going to have a diet that's low in potassium, phosphorus, sodium. You're going to have to limit your fluid intake. This is going to be a whole new normal for many people. And here's what you want to ask during that first week pertaining to your diet. How do I need to change my diet? What kind of medicines can help keep me healthy? Those are some of the questions you need to ask. And the person you need to address is the dietitian. Number 3, what to think about. Your dialysis treatment. What you may want to ask. Again, week 1. This is just week 1. One question you want to ask about your dialysis treatment: how long will you be on dialysis, especially if you do in-center? Because sometimes patients, the doctor tells them one thing in a hospital and they get to the clinic and it's another thing. So ask them, how long will your treatment run? Another important question you may want to ask, or your family member: what happens during the dialysis treatment? See, a lot of people don't get these questions answered or think about to ask these type of questions. And what happens, you find out in fragmented pieces. The fourth thing during the first week you want to think about is support in and out of the dialysis clinic. Support in and out of the dialysis clinic. And the questions about your treatment, you should direct that to the charge nurse or your kidney doctor. And again, that is, how long will you be on dialysis, meaning the hours? Are you on for 3 hours, 3.5, 3:15, 4 hours, 4 hours and 15 minutes, 4.5 hours? Also, you may want to ask the doctor and the nurse, or the nurse, what happens during dialysis treatment? Now, I try to answer these questions especially when I'm on TikTok, because you can answer them in real time, see real questions. The fourth thing that you may want to think about in week 1, you just start dialysis: can family or friends keep me company during treatment? Because some people may start dialysis and say, I can't do this by myself. Can a loved one sit inside the treatment with me? And see, they may do that maybe the first or second day if you have anxiety. But most units won't allow it on a long term because of HIPAA. And another question you may want to think about to ask, what number should I call if I had questions? Get the number to the dialysis center. You can ask the technician or the nurse if you could bring family members in to sit with you, family or friends. They may say yeah, but not be for a long period of time. So that's just week 1. We got 3 more weeks of questions to ask. You see where I'm going with this? Pretty much no one has time at the dialysis unit to sit down and talk about this. And now look, I didn't come up with this first 30. This is from the American Kidney Fund. The American Kidney Fund, not Steve, the kidney nurse. Remember, I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger. Because this is up on their website. But how many people, as I mentioned before, walking around on a Sunday, oh, let me go to the American Kidney Fund website and check out this first 30 checklist. Come on. A lot of people haven't even heard of that. So, week 2, what to think about. This is just week 2 of starting dialysis, the new normal. The new normal for many people. Week 2, here's what you may want to think about. Paying for treatment. That gets a lot of people. How the hell I'm going to pay for treatment? Especially if I ain't got any insurance or if I'm not working. Here's what to ask. What kind of insurance do I have? What does my insurance cover? Are there any community resources that can help me with my other cost of living? Now, see, the person you would see about this would be the social worker. But check this out. I mentioned before, just because one starts dialysis or gets kidney disease, life doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop. You still got to get medications from the pharmacy. You still got to pay utility bill. Still have, car payment if you got that. Insurance payment. Mortgage or rent. Any other outstanding debts you may have before getting kidney failure. That doesn't stop. In fact, many people become overwhelmed due to the financial burden that has been placed on them. And there's not too many community resources out there. There are some, but they have a cap on how much they give you. And you got to fill out all this paperwork just for $200, $300. Here's something else to think about during that second week. Not only do you got to think about paying for treatment, what about preparing your meals now? You may not have a spouse or a loved one. You can live by yourself. Now you got to adapt to a renal or kidney diet. What about patients who can't afford to go out and buy meals and to prepare? So what questions you may want to ask during this second week pertaining to preparing meals? Where can I find recipes that fit my new diet? That may be a question you may want to ask. What seasonings can I use? What should I avoid? Because again, this is a new normal. And when you're talking about meals and diet, that's a lot to think about. What foods have high phosphorus, low phosphorus? What foods have high potassium, low potassium? What foods are high in sodium, low in sodium? Talk about taking your binders, restricting fluid intake to 32 to 48 ounces. It's a lot. And that's why constant education like this program is necessary. Because this is an ongoing problem. Meaning the next people to come in to start dialysis got to go through this. And then the people after them to start. Then people after them to start. It's a continuous cycle. And that's why you have to come back and revisit these type of topics. Because somebody else may miss it who just started dialysis. The third thing someone may want to think about during the second week of starting dialysis is their medicine. Because you got some people that may not can afford the medicine that they need to take for dialysis, like high blood pressure or phosphorus binders. Because you got people that are homeless that have to undergo dialysis. This disease strikes across all spectrums. And unfortunately, our brothers and sisters in East Africa, some of these questions they can't even ask because it doesn't pertain to them. Meaning they don't have a dietitian or social worker in the clinic to follow through with their questions. If you ain't got a dietitian or social worker, how you going to ask for extra services, especially if you don't have money in your pocket to pay the social worker or the dietitian, because it has to happen there. It's not part of the insurance. If someone in East Africa, well, let's say in Kenya, wants to see a dietitian or a social worker, they got to come out of their wallet. And what if you don't have that money in your wallet? Then it's SOL. And for a lot of people, who don't know, say, what's SOL? Excuse my expression. It's shit out of luck. So that's why education is so important. It's so important. Let's look at the fourth thing to think about during your second week of dialysis. What to do during treatment. A lot of people start dialysis and like, what I'm going to do for this 3 hours or this 3.5 hours or 4 hours. Here's some questions you may want to ask. Can I eat during my dialysis treatment? Because you got some clinics that will let you eat, and some say no. Bring a light snack, especially if you're diabetic. But I worked at places in the inner city where they let patients come in with the styrofoam trays filled with food. And they eating it on dialysis. And halfway through the treatment, guess what? They got the trash can from the floor right in front of them, and they vomiting up. So that's a question you can ask. Can I eat during my dialysis treatment? Second one, how should I dress for treatment? Let me tell you something. I always encourage patients who have a catheter, because when you start, you normally have a catheter. It looks like this. I normally suggest to them, wear either a button-down shirt so you can open it wide, or if you wear a t-shirt like this, get an old one and cut into a V neck right here so it can peel back so we can have access to the area to clean it. Because a lot of times when people wear shirts like this, the catheter is inside the shirt, right? It's inside, and then we got to pull it out, and this is still pulling up against it. And we tell them, hey, can you hold your it's over this way. Can you hold your shirt open? And we're trying to clean it. So if you got a catheter, if you got a sweatshirt, cut it right there into a V where it's open and you got space to clean it and dress it. In fact, I encourage if you don't have to work after dialysis or go anywhere, I encourage you to wear old sweat clothes. Because if you got an abscess in your arm and you start to bleed after treatment, then you have some clothes you don't mind getting bloody. You just wash them in cold water. But if you got to go to work or got a suit or nice clothes on or a blouse for women and they start to bleed and they get on it, But I always encourage to wear some some sweat clothes, something that's kind of large. And see, some places it may be too hot or cold, depending on what they got the temperature on. And I always suggest to people, when you go to dialysis, know your orders, your treatment orders, because the physician, they set a temperature for you. Some patients may have a temperature of 37, 36. And some may have 35.5. And you see, a lot of technicians and nurses, if you got low blood pressure, they may take it upon themselves to set your temperature on the machine at 35.5. You start to shiver, and it causes your blood pressure to go up. So ask questions. Say, hey, if you feel cold on dial, say, hey, what's my temperature on the machine? And ask them what's the order that the doctor ordered for you to have. All right. Another question to ask what to do during treatment. I already said, how should I dress for treatment? Old clothes, due to the blood, the temperature. Also, what can I do to keep busy during dialysis? Some things you can do during dialysis. You can work. I know patients that work from home. They had dialysis at 8 o'clock. They sign in to the computer and do work. You can play games. If you got a phone or a laptop or an iPad, you can play games. 3, watch TV. Most clinics have televisions on the wall or right there on the handle that comes out the wall like an extension. And you can change the channels yourself, have an earplug, or they got it up on the wall and you got the remote. You can sleep if you want to. Some people tell you, hey, I recommend you don't sleep. You know, you need to watch what they're doing in the clinic. That's what some people would say. Say, I don't go to sleep. I may look like it. You see them, they have on the dark. If you see anybody, with dark glasses on, and they maybe got a hat on, or just the part of having, you see somebody wearing dark shades in the clinic, most of the time they not asleep. Now some because of the lighting, but for the most part, if they got regular sunglasses, 9 times out of 10, they not asleep. They watching what the staff is doing and what's going on in the unit. I kid you not. You could talk on the phone. You could do crossword puzzles. You can surf the internet. Or you could also read. There's a lot you can do during treatment. All right, now this is just the second week. Let's look at week 3. You just started dialysis, week 3. What questions you should ask. And this is what to think about. And see, some of these you could have thought about it in week 1 or 2. But here's something to think about in week 3 for many people. Transportation. How are you going to get to outpatient hemodialysis? Do you have a consistent ride? Maybe your family member, a friend. What about the paratransit or something from the state? Or Uber or Lyft? So here are some questions to ask week 3. Can I drive myself to dialysis? Let me tell you something. There patient at one of the clinics I work at, 92 years old. 92 that drives herself to dialysis. 92. When she get off, She drive home. Sometimes she says she makes a pit stop. But I know everyone's different. But if someone 92 on dialysis can drive themselves, you may think about, hey, okay, let me get myself together and I may be able to drive. Also, a question to ask, what transportation options do I have? And you talk to the social worker about that. And I just said the different options one may have: Uber, Lyft, paratransit, or the state bus. Excuse me. Here's the second thing to think about during the third week of dialysis treatment: phosphate binders. Now, by this time, the third week, you would have thought about, you should have seen a dietitian. So you know what to eat and what to do with this new dietary lifestyle. Now, phosphate binders, something to think about. And the question you may ask, how do phosphate binders work? How do they work? Also, what happens if I forget to take my binders? If you forget, you don't double up on the next one. And these are questions that need to be directed toward the dietitian. And again, a lot of people, when they start dialysis, they don't know to ask these type of questions. That's why a lot of this stuff falls right through the cracks. Right through the cracks. Third week, what to think about. Treatment options. And this is where a lot of doctors, I said it, this is where a lot of doctors, kidney doctors, miss the mark. Hey, Steve, how was that? Where did they miss the mark at? Because a lot of these doctors, when you get diagnosed in a hospital and they call kidney doctor for a consult, here they come, he or she. They calling people like myself. Oh, we got a patient in the hospital. Can you go dialyze him? It's 2, 3 in the morning. Let me go dialyze you. You already got this in. They done put this in, a temporary catheter in you. Or IJ, the one that goes on the side of your neck. Like this, little short one. And then what happens? You start that treatment. The doctor comes in, see you. You don't even know what to even think about because this kidney failure just hit you like a ton of bricks. You don't know what questions to ask. You just want to know, is this going to be for the rest of my life? And then next thing you know, you done did 3 treatments, and here comes the case manager with their little pad under the arms walking in your room. Hey, Mrs. or Mr. So-and-so, I'm Steve, I'm from case management. You're going to be getting discharged this weekend, and we're trying to find a clinic near your house. Where do you live? Next thing you know is out the hospital, into the center. Now you're going back and forth. And you didn't even want to do that. You say to yourself, is there any other options? You thinking that to yourself. And this is where the kidney doctors missed the mark. Because this is where the education should comes in to let you know the different treatment options when you're in that hospital. Because you may want to do home dialysis. You may want to do peritoneal. Or you may not want to do no dialysis at all. But you don't know because you don't know. And you expect that doctor to educate you so you can make an informed decision. And see, this is where when people go into the outpatient dialysis unit for the first time and sign the consent form, in that consent form, that's where they talk about alternative treatment options that no one's never heard of until that day. Now, how are you going to make a decision and say, okay, I want to do home dialysis, and you're already at outpatient? And they say, we don't have a home program. And you say, oh, I guess I can't do home dialysis. Not knowing that there's other facilities out there and companies that do home dialysis, but they don't tell you you got the option to go seek and you will find. No, they don't tell you because they want you there to get that money. Because what else could it be? If you want to do home hemo and this particular clinic doesn't have it, why are they not referring you out to another company? Say, oh, you can go to Fresenius. They got it. Or you can go to our other clinic. They got home dialysis. And you don't hear none of that. Only thing you know is they're not available in that center. And you're like, oh, you may think, okay, damn. Again, this is where education comes in. I know somebody that went to a facility and didn't know anything about a transplant until 4 years later. Who do you blame? Is the patient wrong or the facility or the doctor for not educating and letting that patient know of another treatment option? So what you may want to think about the third week treatment options. Is in-center dialysis my only option? No, it's not. And don't let them have you thinking that. In-center dialysis is not the only treatment option. Next question you may want to ask. Which treatment option fits best with my lifestyle? Always tell, wait a minute. TikTok. I always tell individuals who follow me on TikTok in my lives and they say, hey, Steve, what treatment option should I do? Is home dialysis better? Is in-center better? Is peritoneal, no dialysis? What should I do? And I always refer them back to the lifestyle. Which treatment option best fit your lifestyle? If you love to jet set, you're a model, you work, you do this, you travel, then home dialysis may be the option for you. If you got a family, you want to include them, do it at home, be around, be able to watch TV and be in the comfort of your own home, then home dialysis is for you. If you by yourself and you don't want to do treatment at home, you want to get out and socialize, then the clinic in-center may be for you. That's why I say you got to look at your lifestyle when you're making these type of decisions. But look, no one is going to tell you that. See, you may be on the internet, social media, and see somebody doing home dialysis. And they may say, hey, this is the best treatment for them. You don't know if it's going to be the best treatment for you. There's a lot of factors to consider when you do any treatment option. There's a lot to consider. Not only do you look at your lifestyle, but you look at the risk and benefits of each treatment option, because there's many. And you don't want to be that person that does a treatment option and something happens, you say, my God, why did no one tell me? Why ain't no one tell me? Then another question to ask, can my dialysis be performed overnight? Yes, it can. You got many people who don't know that. Do you know how many people, if they knew that, they probably wouldn't have quit their job or retired? But because they didn't know they had that option, they went on and prematurely quit their job or retired because they felt like they didn't have no other option so they could still work. This is real. And when you're talking about somebody's livelihood and they still want to work, but they don't get information that they can still work, they can do this at home. Oh, I don't want to hear this. No disrespect. And this is something else. Let me take a pause for the pause, because this is something that you should be worried about as a patient as well. And I'm putting this on my screen to show. This person says, how you pronounce your name? Melens Juden Losper says, as I see this all the time, I just finished using the herbal medicine which I ordered from Dr. Abumer, and finally I've been totally cured from HSV2 and high blood pressure after 7 years of experience. Thank you so much, Doc, for all you've done. He is real and can be trusted. I'm going to keep sharing about your medication so other people can get cured too. He also had cure for diabetes, HPV, lupus, kidney, psoriasis, thyroid, weight loss, infertility, fibroids, warts, cancer, etc. Contact him now on his Facebook. Get out of here with this mess. Because if he's able to do that, why are so many people suffering? Is he trying to make money off of this? Why are so many people suffering from diabetes and hypertension and kidney disease and lupus, and you got somebody to say that they can heal them? You know and I know this is fake. But I just wanted people to see this, to let them know, don't fall victim to this type of shystiness. There's no difference from one of those potion guys back in the Western days. So let me just block this person, because this is hogwash. And now I blocked you, and let me delete the comment. All right. Kim says, I'm so glad you are sharing this information. Thanks for stopping by, Kim. I appreciate you, beloved. Thank you so much for your support. So, again, for the treatment options, can my dialysis be performed overnight? Yes. You got outpatient clinics called Nocturnal that do overnight. You just got to find it. Or you can do home dialysis at home and do it overnight. I mean, you might, especially if you got insomnia and you can't sleep at night, you might as well. That means you got your whole day free. And people may be wanting to, as they say, grab that bag during the day. Kidney disease affects anyone, even the, and I don't mean to say this and joking about it, but even people who work at night, who sell narcotics or out there pimping or whatever. It doesn't matter. Now people try to find out, how do I go through this treatment and it not interrupt what I'm doing? I'm making my money. Like I said before, I knew a lady who worked in the fields picking fruit. And during her break, she would go to her car and do peritoneal dialysis, manual, let the fluid drain in while she's in the car. Sit there for a while, go back out, do her work, and then come back and drain. And you got to think about this. Also, if you're working, you can say, hey, let me do peritoneal. Because now, if you got an employee to try to talk crap, you got the ADA, American Disability Act. And so what I mean by that, if you have women, respectfully, that can come to work and go during their lunch or during the time at work and pump breast milk, got the room and everything for them, why can't you do the same and do your peritoneal exchanges? go to lunch or whatever, sit in your office, do your manual exchange. Oh, congratulations. And please stop by my, if you're not on TikTok, Kim, please follow me on TikTok. And Kim says, you're welcome. I get my PD catheter placed this Friday, October 25th. I'm just ready to start feeling better. Congratulations on choosing that treatment option. Now you'll be able to be home and you got control of your treatment. Just be careful of the whole peritonitis. Keeping that area clean around your PD catheter. But definitely congratulations to you, wishing you the best. And please follow me if you're not already following me. So let's get into, another thing to ask, week 3, what to know about my dialysis center. This is something that is missed all the time. Okay? And what do I mean by that? When you go, see, there was a time when people started dialysis, they started putting them in the community. They had open house. And when they had open house, they invite the community or people in the dialysis industry from other units and doctors to come and visit this new facility that just opened up. And their patients could walk through and see the water room, look in the lounge, and here, there, everywhere. Now they don't even do that no more. They don't even do that. So a lot of times when I'm on my TikTok live, I show the water treatment room. This is where pure water is made, where city water is turned into pure water. A lot of patients don't know about the water treatment room and the components that go back there that make this part of their treatment. Because without the water, there's no water, there's no treatment. Point blank. 2 things you need to do dialysis, hemo. Power and water. You don't have those 2 or one or the other, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So that's why I say when you try to figure out what dialysis treatments you're going to do, these are the things that you got to think about. Go to dialysis on an outpatient, go back and forth like clockwork. One day you go and they say, we can't do dialysis today. The main water line broke and we don't know when it's going to be finished. So now they're either sending you to another unit or having you wait. And you're like, damn. And this can happen at home as well. But this is the risk the risk and benefits of each treatment option. So week 4, we already over the time, but hey, P-Teach, how you doing? There go P-Teach. You can always count on P-Teach to stop by on YouTube. So thank you so much for stopping by and your support. Definitely going to always acknowledge anyone that comes on the YouTube or Facebook page showing support. So let's get into week 4 of your first 30 checklist of questions one may want to ask during their first month of starting dialysis. Because it's a lot of information and it can be so overwhelming for many people. In fact, I guarantee you, not that I'm trying to toot my horn, but you're not going to find any other lives like this where you got a kidney nurse going over information that are directed toward patients with kidney disease or kidney failure. And like I say, I didn't make this stuff up. I wrote on and had it for a while, but this information's always been out. It's just that nobody really knows about it unless you out there doing the research. And when you're sick and you're dealing with a chronic illness, who got time for that? So that's why I do what I do. And this is all evidence-based information. So week 4, what to think about. Travel. Now you done kind of settled in to dialysis. It's only been 4 weeks, but you're starting to feel a little better. And let's say maybe before getting sick, you and your loved one, or you were the type that traveled and loved to go places. So here's one thing to think about: travel. What to ask. How can I travel while on dialysis? Will my health insurance coverage transfer to another facility? Now, you talk to the social worker about that. And see, some people may want to go on a cruise. Now, if you go on a cruise that goes into international waters, Medicare doesn't pay for that. So they do have cruises that does dialysis. And if you're in the United States and you say you live in Maryland and you travel to California or Florida, yeah, pretty much Medicare will cover that. Also, something else to ask: will my health insurance coverage transfer to another facility? One, you may have health insurance that one company may take, and you got to travel and they don't have that unit and you got to go to another unit. They may not take that insurance. But talk to the social worker. What to think about. Week 4, supplements. Here's what to ask: how can I supplement my nutrition? Are there any tools to help me stay on track with my diet? The person you need to talk to for that, the dietitian. Okay? Again, we going now, and this the next one, the 4th week, what to think about. We're going back to treatment options. Should I be referred for a kidney transplant evaluation? That's one question. Another one: what kind of vascular access do I need? See, we're talking about week 4. And some people come to you in week 1, say, hey, we made an appointment for you to go get vein mapping in your arms. Don't give you an opportunity to do nothing. They done already made it without your thought. And you're like, huh? No one told me about this. And you may be worried to death. Now you're going to see a vascular surgeon to put an access in your arm to get stuck with these size needles. Now, they don't start this big in the beginning, but eventually they try to work their way up for you to get stuck with this size needle. And this is a 15 gauge needle, arterial venous fistula needle graft. In week 3, one thing I forgot to say about what do I need to know about my dialysis center. Are there any rules I need to know about at my dialysis center? You know, you got your patient's rights and responsibilities. You got your grievance policy, like if you need to file a grievance. And also, can I take a tour of the facility? Again, like I said, there was a time where they let you take a tour. You can't even do that no more. Also, when it comes to supplements, are there any tools to help me stay on track with my diet? The person you see about this is the dietitian. And I came down to treatment options. What kind of vascular access do I need? And this is where you go and the surgeon may say, hey, your veins are small. And when you hear that, there's a lot of questions that you need to ask that surgeon that I can't answer right now, but I may talk about later this evening. Because a lot of people, when they tell them their veins are small, they continue to do the surgery. And now what's happening now, you squeezing the ball, trying to build up your vein, and nothing's happening. And now they want to go back in weeks later and start doing these other procedures. Oh, we may need to lift it up closer to the surface, or we may need to widen it. Putting you through all this trauma, only to say we need to go in another arm or go up. So please, if they give you a slip, a referral to go see the access surgeon, make sure you ask a lot of questions before they start cutting. As I call it, start doing the Edward Scissorhands. And if you need to do a second opinion, I encourage you. Because one surgeon may not agree with the other. And if that happens, then you got to ask yourself, who's right or who's wrong? Because if one surgeon say, no, I don't agree with this, and the other one says, yeah, both of them surgeons. Who are you going to believe? If one tell you, no, I'm not going to do this, the other one's like, yeah, I'm going to do it, who are you going to believe? This is why you go to a one. You tell the other two, hold your thoughts. And that third one, if they say or agree with ever won, then wait a minute, he may be right. PT said, please do, Steve. That's me. Small veins. I had to request a butterfly during labs. PTs, I'm not sure if you're on TikTok. I may come back on here while I'm on TikTok as well and do it on the fistula. See, it's just on TikTok, I could put up green screen and show the vein, the veins. Opposed to here, I could possibly do the same thing. But yeah, I will do another. I'll do another live this evening before we do Kidney Life Unfiltered. That's at 8:00 on TikTok. But yeah, at 7:00, I want to do on the access. Just for you, P. Teach. Because a lot of times people are referred there and they got small veins and they get all these unnecessary procedures done. When at the end of the day, they say, oh, let's just put a graft in. And you done had 2 or 3 procedures. Now they want to do the graft when should have did that in the first place, knowing that you had small veins. All right. So we talked about supplements, treatment options. This is the 4th week. Should I be referred for a kidney transplant evaluation? Or what kind of vascular access do I need? See, instead of the fistula, you may need the graft because your veins are too small to take on the fistula. The 4th one, caring for your vascular access. How can I take care of my vascular access? What activities could hurt my vascular access? These questions should be directed to the tech or the nurse. The other one about what kind of vascular access do I need should be directed to the doctor. And then it goes on to say, there are many other questions or concerns you may have for your healthcare team. Don't be afraid to speak up. Ask as many questions as you need to. So it's a lot. Some other questions that I had, like about your treatment. What is the dialysis schedule? How many sessions per week will I need? And how long will each session last? I talked about that. What should I expect during the dialysis treatment? I talked about that. People may want to know, can you walk me through what happens during treatment? I'll talk about that in this book right here, the Dialysis Patient Handbook of Information. What type of dialysis access will I have? Will I have a fistula, graft, or catheter? What are the care instructions for my access site? 4, what are the potential side effects of dialysis? What symptoms should I watch for during and after treatment? I talked about that with the consent form. We talked about cramping, nausea, vomiting, weakness, fatigue, low blood pressure, high blood pressure. You got, will I need to take phosphorus binders or EPO? I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Got questions about future planning. What are my options if dialysis is not working for me? Can you explain the options for kidney transplant or other treatments? How often will I have follow-up appointments? I mean, it's a lot. How will my progress be monitored? What tests will be done regularly, and how will my results be communicated to me? What should I do if I feel unwell after treatment? Who should I contact, and what steps should I take? What resources are available for emotional support? Are there support groups or counseling service for patients and families? Lot of questions. So with that being said, I thank everybody for their time. Please check me out. This is going to be a special live tonight. I'm going to do it at 7 o'clock. Having a dialysis access. What you should know. I'm doing that for P-Teach. And then at 8 o'clock, join myself and Kayla, host of Snap Back to Life, as we do Kidney Life Unfiltered. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everyone for joining. Kim, P-Teach, and anyone else who watched from YouTube or Facebook, thank you for your support. I'd like to thank my followers and supporters on TikTok. I love those guys to death because, without you and people on TikTok, this broadcast would not be possible. So with that being said, join me tonight on TikTok Live starting at 7 p.m. as we talk about having a dialysis access, what you should know, followed by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Kidney Life Unfiltered with myself and my co-host, Kayla from Snap Back to Life. With that being said, God bless you and have a great Sunday. I'm Steve, the kidney nurse. And please send my co-host, Moses Kennedy, well wishes as he recovers from a temporary illness. Peace and blessings. This is Steve, the kidney nurse, and I'm out. Peace.